Hello everyone, my name is Cameron. Welcome back to the channel. And if you have seen the Mortal Kombat movie, this is going to be the second review I'm going to be uploading of it on my channel. If you have not seen the Mortal Kombat movie, I highly suggest you go check out my Mortal Kombat spoiler-free review, as this one is going to delve deep into the story of the movie, how it ends, and a lot of other things to do with specific characters and how they die. So if you have not seen the movie, I highly suggest you leave this video and go check out the spoiler-free one, where I just kind of give my thoughts on the movie itself. This one's going to delve a lot more into the actual story of the movie and talk a lot more about what I think is going to happen going forward, and characters I think are going to pop up in the second movie based off of who died and who did not die in the first movie. So, that being said, if you have not seen the movie, this is your last chance. I'm giving you the last warning. Once this hits 1 minute, I'm officially starting the spoiler-filled review. All right. With everyone who has not seen the movie, seriously though, go see it, out of the room and off of this video and going to check out the spoiler-free one, hopefully, let's get into the spoiler-filled Mortal Kombat 2021 review. So, let's start off with Cole Young. I did not expect his character to be so good, to be... So when they first announced that he's going to be a descendant of Hanzo / Scorpion, I was like, how are they going to do this exactly? Because as everyone knows, if you've been in the game, if you've watched any of the media around the games enough, and if you've seen any of the story stuff behind the games, you know that Scorpion's family and him are killed by the Lin Kuei very early on in the MK storyline. And it's the same in this movie. Him and his family and his entirety of the Shirai Ryu, just like in the games, are murdered off by the Lin Kuei, specifically led by Bi-Han / Sub-Zero. Now, in this movie, they add an extra child. As far as I know, in all of the other subsequent sort of media for MK, they normally only have him have his wife, him, his son, and then the rest of the Shirai Ryu. In this movie, however, he has a daughter who is hidden away that Raiden then comes and saves, which I thought was a really cool plot line, because as I was sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute, who's going to save the daughter? Because I realized the daughter made sense. Okay, so that's how Cole is going to survive, because you can't just not kill Scorpion or Hanzo, his son, and his daughter and his wife. But the wife and the son hid the daughter away, and then Raiden came and saved the daughter after Scorpion died, and took her away and to hide her away so Sub-Zero could not find her, which eventually led to Cole Young being born at some point way down the line. I don't know. I think the movie's set in 2021 or 2020, something like that. It's supposed to be set around the actual time frame of what we're in now. So my assumption is that he's not the son of Hanzo's daughter, considering that happened in 1617. No, it's probably fair to assume that he's many greats down from Hanzo. Then obviously there is the marking, which I thought was just gonna be for Cole. It is not. It is for all of the Mortal Kombat champions of Earthrealm. All of them have that specific marking. If you beat a warrior who has that marking, you then get the marking, which we see come into play later on in the movie. Again, I'm going to delve into that a little bit later. So Hanzo dies, descends to the Netherrealm, and plots until he can come back. Later on, when the time actually comes in, we see Cole get his ass beat in an MMA fight, which is really cool. And then as and then Jax runs into him and talks with him, and as him and his wife and his daughter are out getting ice cream, Sub-Zero attacks, which then leads to Jax splitting off from Cole. Cole going with his family to go find Sonya Blade as Jax fights Sub-Zero, gets his arms frozen and then smashed and thrown off the side of the parking structure, leading to Jax getting eventually his normal video game look with the metal robot arms, which again, we'll get into later. Cole then goes and finds Sonya Blade as well as Kano, who also has a marking because he killed another warrior who had the marking. They get attacked by Reptile, who was sent by Shang Tsung. This is where Kano gets his scratch on his face. This does not lead to him getting the full metal plate. We'll get to that later. Kano eventually ends up ripping out Reptile's heart and saying, Kano wins, So another reference to the games, which was really cool. I wish he would. I don't think he said fatality, but I think he might. He could have said fatality. I don't remember for sure, but I know he definitely did say Kano wins, which was really cool. I thought the scene was really good with Kano, Sonya, and Cole all fighting off Reptile as he was invisible and trying to find, where he was at, and then using a flare to light him on fire, which was really cool. This then leads to a scene where basically there's some bullshitting, eventually leading to Kano saying, "I know a way to get to Raiden's temple." They end up flying a plane there with somebody, some friend of Kano's. I was hoping it was a specific character, but we'll get to that character later. They eventually jump out and get found by a very badass entrance making Liu Kang, who literally walks in just with a sunset behind him like it's no big deal. He throws a fireball at Kano, which is really cool. To which Kano bitches and moans for a few minutes. They finally get to the temple, and Kano would not. Kano was one of my favorite parts of this movie, and as somebody who despises Kano to like a very high degree, to say I loved Kano in this movie is a fucking understatement. He was fantastic. I thought the actor who played Kano did great as Kano. Like, he did fantastic, and I talked about it in the non-spoiler review, but like the actors were picked perfectly for their roles. Jessica McNamee did really good as Sonya. Mashad Brooks, who I've seen from Supergirl, did very good as Jax. Everyone did very good in their roles, and I'm very happy to see how good this cast was actually cast. They get to the temple, and they're talking about how to find your Arcana, which is how Liu has the fireballs, which is how Kung Lao, who then shows up around this time, has his fancy hat. Raiden had transported Jax there. Jax was now getting the robot arms, which look very weak and dainty at first, which is the funniest shit in the world. Outworld being Outworld are a bunch of cheating fucks. So they come to attack. We see Melina, Shang Tsung, and Sub-Zero come to attack the temple, but Raiden blocks them out, leading them to go and kind of sit and find their time to be there. There's an eating scene where everyone's trying to find their bullshit and stuff, and Liu Kang and Kung Lao end up kind of goading Kano on repeatedly until eventually he hits his laser eye, which goes into Kung Lao's shield, bounces around a bit, and then hits something. That's how Kano finds out he has laser power. It was kind of, I was expecting, okay, they're going to do like the traditional thing, aren't they? He's going to lose part of his face. He's going to get the metal plate put in with the laser eye. No, actually, they went completely fucking different. They had this be a special power that he could unlock within himself, which I thought was really fucking cool. I like the idea of that being kind of just him being goaded on about being a failure repeatedly, which was really cool. He eventually turns because of Cabal showing up, who was sent by Shang Tsung to talk Kano into turning. Goro shows up at this point, and he looked fantastic in this movie. Nitara also shows up, and so does General Reiko. Reiko is somebody, if you've not played the games, and I mean specifically like the 3D games, you're not going to really know who the fuck Reiko is. I know a little bit about him, but not enough to really go deep into it. He's got a cool hammer, though, so there's that. We do see a lot of Shao Kahn statues, but we never actually see Shao Kahn himself, which is very sad. They then go and attack. At this point, around this point, is when Cole left to go home to his family because he could not get his Arcana to pop up, which I thought was a really cool situation. Like, okay, yeah, he's feeling inadequate compared to the other people, especially Kano. Kano turns, which again, like I said, is no fucking shock to anyone because of Cabal. Then Kano, Cabal, Nitara, Reiko, Shang Tsung, and Sub-Zero, I think Sub-Zero is part of it, begin to attack the rest of the fighters, including Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya Blade, Jax. Raiden kind of just sat on the sidelines because semantics, but they attack the champions of Earthrealm, as they're called. While Cole eventually gets attacked by Goro at the little kind of farmstead that his family's holed up in. While there, he ends up finding his Arcana, becoming kind of a legitimate human punching bag, which is what he was called early on in the movie. Basically, every time he gets hit, he starts getting stronger, and he started doing this and he got to that point because his family was in danger, and he was watching Goro about to kill them. He eventually slices Goro's hand off, slices his fucking stomach open, and then slices his neck to finish him off, killing Goro. Rest easy, sweet prince. He gets teleported back to go help them out. As everyone gets kind of fought back, Jax's arms are too weak for him to really do anything against Reiko. He gets thrown over an edge. Sonya eventually gets thrown over that same edge by Melina and kind of gets a rock dropped on her. As Kung Lao is trying to fight Shang Tsung, he summons Natara in. Shang Tsung made a fatal mistake in this situation. Liu Kang was basically getting double teamed by Sub-Zero and Cabal, I believe, at this point. Kung Lao basically waits until Natara comes into attack, grabs her, pulls his hat forward, does the spinny blade fucking super spin thing, and fucking slices her in half. And that's when he says, "Flawless victory." It was a little bit before this when, back before Raiden dropped down the electric shield is when Shang Tsung said, "Your souls are mine." And then it's at this point where we actually get to see the soul-sucking power. He does take Kung Lao's soul, killing him as Raiden is teleporting all of the other champions away to the Void, which is the world between his world and Earthrealm. Liu Kang drops Kung Lao's hat in there saying that he failed, that he's gone, and ends up getting his iconic headband, taking the red band off of Kung Lao's hat and putting around his head, which I thought was a really cool way for him to get that. As they're talking, they come up and formulate a plan to break off each of the idiots and fight them separately. Cole and Liu Kang fight Melina and Cabal. Jax takes down Reiko. Sonya fights Kano. And Sub-Zero is saved for last to take down as a team. Sonya ends up beating Kano by stabbing a garden gnome into his eye, like literally the same eye. So most likely, if Kano does come back in the next movie, he's gonna have the metal-plated eye. And that's kind of an earlier reference where he said, "Garden gnomes creep me the fuck out." If you guys don't know, I believe Jax is the original reason in the games that he gets the metal-plated eye. I believe Jax just beats the fuck out of his face and ends up smashing through part of his face. Because if you guys don't know, it's not just a plate. It's literally like the whole side of his head in some iterations is metal plated with a laser in it. Because Jax just beat the fuck, like punched through his face. Like everyone assumed it was going to be Reptile, but no. It was a garden gnome to the face. I'm sorry, but that's fucking hilarious to me. Where was I? Oh yeah, Jax ends up throwing Reiko, or doing the sonic clap to Reiko to smash his fucking head in after breaking his little wimpy hammer. Because Jax, to save Sonya, ended up finding his Arcana and his metal arms that were wimpy, got really fucking cool and badass, like we know in the games, which I thought was a really cool way, because I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna explain how is he gonna get cool arms after having those tiny ass wimpy arms? Well, yeah, his Arcana. Duh. Excuse me. That was just... I had to yawn really bad right there. Then as Liu and Cole are fighting Melina and Cabal, Liu ends up overpowering Cabal and does the animality, his flaming dragon, to take out Cabal, which I thought was a really cool moment. At the same time, it's when we get to really see Melina with the full snaggly tooth bullshit in the back, the full Tarkatan sort of mouth, where Cole almost gets overwhelmed until Sonya, with her new Arcana, the pink blast, shooty blaster things that she has on her arms, shoots a fucking hole through Melina for literally her saying her death's not worth it during the big fight scene earlier on when Kano turned on the good guys. And it's a really cool situation to see Melina die like that. I thought it was really cool. Then Sub-Zero goes and kidnaps Cole's family, his wife Allison and his daughter Emily, and brings them to the gym where he fought at earlier in the movie. I think it was the same gym at least, where he basically ends up chasing him because he realizes that Sub-Zero kidnapped his family, so it ends up being Sub-Zero versus Cole in a one-on-one match for Cole to save his family. Now, during this is my favorite fucking scene. This was my favorite scene in the movie, and I had to wait so long for this. But eventually, as Cole is trying to fight to actually overpower Sub-Zero. The blade, the the spear tip thing, because he didn't have them. He had like Baraka claws almost, kind of like Baraka style swords on his arms, which was really cool. I thought Cole's weapons were really cool. Kind of reminded me of Movado a little bit, which I really liked. As he's fighting, he's using the spear tip that was actually stabbed into Hanzo to kill him. That starts lighting up on fire until eventually you see a different spear go through Sub-Zero, and then you finally get to hear it. The line everyone waited the entire movie for. You finally get to hear, "Get over here!" That was a bad one, but my throat's killing me from screaming so much while watching the movie. You finally get to hear "Get over here" as Scorpion finally shows up, and there's a lot of talking in this fight. But he's like, "I told you you'd remember this face," and there's like, "Do you remember this face?" And he puts the mask back on and he says, "I go by Scorpion now." I'm like, what a fucking badass, man. They have a really cool fight scene, Scorpion and Sub-Zero do. A lot of cool moves. The Cory Blade, which is Sub-Zero's sword from the 3D games, is really, really well mentioned. There's a lot of really cool moves from the games put in there. Eventually ends up leading to a 2-on-1 fight with Cole and Scorpion beating the shit out of Sub-Zero for a while. Until eventually Scorpion says, "Hey, let me take him on." So Cole goes and rescues his family, as we finally get to see Scorpion's badass fatality of taking off the mask and spitting fire out on Sub-Zero, which eventually kills him. Scorpion then says, "You are keeping the Hisashi bloodline going strong," and then he leaves because, well, he's got nothing left to do right now. Cole hugs his family as Raiden, Lou, Sonya, Jax show up. They talk as Shang Tsung comes in, and Raiden basically banishes him back to Outworld and says he talks too much. And yeah, as Shang Tsung's talking, he's like, "My champions, I will not bring champions next time. You may have defeated them this time, but next time I'll bring armies." And as that's happening, you see smoke envelop Sub-Zero, which means he's most likely coming back as Noob Saibot. You also see it envelop Goro, which means Goro might be back in some way. Who knows? We do not see anything happen with Melina, Natara, or Kano, or Reiko, but I'm assuming that, or Cabal, but I'm assuming that all 5 of them are also enveloped in the same sort of smoke to be brought back in some way. I could potentially see Cabal being a Revenant. I'm not sure about the rest, though. And then he's teleported away. Most likely that means Sub-Zero will be coming back as the best character in all of MK. My favorite character, my main, well, second main. Let's be honest. Scorpion's always going to be my first. Also, Nightwolf. Nightwolf's pretty badass. We did see there was a Nightwolf reference earlier on in the movie, too, when Sonya was explaining Mortal Kombat to Cole, which he called out the one thing that I've always had an issue with in these movies, that combat is spelled wrong. He calls out that combat is spelled wrong, and I fucking loved it. It was great. But most likely it's teasing for Noob Saibot in the next movie, which was really good. I really like that. I don't know what they're going to be teasing with Goro being enveloped by the smoke or anything like that. And then Raiden says, "I have new champions. I need you guys to go find." And Cole's like, who's first? What's the first name, He goes back to the gym to pack up all of his stuff. The gym owner says, "I gotta fight for you tomorrow," and he's like, "Nah, I'm done fighting for $200. He's like, "Oh, you're finally quitting?" He's like, "Something like that." He's like, I gotta go." He's like, "Oh, where are you going?" He's like, "Hollywood." He's like, "What's in Hollywood?" It's like, "Not what, who?" And then as the gym owner walks past, you see a poster for a new Johnny Cage flick, meaning they're teasing Johnny Cage like crazy, which, yeah, was kind of the obvious thing that was going to happen in that movie, is that they tease for Johnny Cage in the sequel. And yeah, so I'm hoping the things we see in the second Mortal Kombat movie, as it seems like that's what... Oop, shit, wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. As it seems like what they're teasing for is a big Mortal Kombat 2. So let's talk about what I think they're going to happen. First things first, Noob Saibot. Obviously, Bihan's turning into the Noob Saibot. Come on, that fucking ending with him. There's no way he's not going to end up being Noob Saibot. It's going to be a shock reveal, but he's going to be Noob Saibot. Secondly, we're not going to get We're going to get Johnny Cage. Obviously, that's kind of an obvious one. I don't know who's playing him yet. I'm hoping we get a cool Johnny Cage actor. I hope he fits very well. Thirdly, I hope we get Stryker. I love Stryker. He's a fantastic character. And preferably, I want him to be played by John Cena. Because let's be honest, John Cena can fit that mold pretty fucking well. I think he'd be a good Stryker. Fourth, I hope we get a badass Nightwolf. Now, there is a Nightwolf mentioned, but Nightwolf is more of a name as it pertains to the Mortal Kombat canon. So Nightwolf, I think there could be a new Nightwolf showing up, which I think would be a really cool champion to add in. Now, granted, I don't think Stryker's going to be champion. He's just going to be his normal cop self getting his ass beat by somebody. Maybe the Goro tease is supposed to be Kintaro, which is the tiger sort of... Wait, is that Kintaro? Or is Kintaro the... No, Motaro is the centaur dude. I think maybe we could see him if we see more Outworld shit. But Kintaro, the other four... armed like tiger looking Shokan, I think we could potentially see him. Maybe Baraka, it seemed like they were trying to tease him a little bit in this movie as well. Shao Kahn, I definitely think is going to show up because again, I think Mortal Kombat 2 will be more centered around the tournament as there wasn't really a tournament in this movie. I think we could be getting it'd be cool to see Movado, but I doubt we're going to see Movado. I think it'd be really cool to see Kenshi, and if again, I'm just spitballing, I'm just fan casting, but Kenshi should 100% be Keanu Reeves, because if you've seen Kenshi with his beard, if you don't know who Kenshi is, he's the blind guy with the ancestral sword that speaks to him. If you ever seen him blindfolded with his beard, it 100% looks like Keanu Reeves, and I 100% want Keanu Reeves to play Kenshi. Like, come on, man. I get it. He's technically not supposed to be white, but come on, Keanu Reeves looks so much like him. It fits so perfect. Who else could I see us maybe getting? Maybe Kitana, because she wasn't in this movie, surprisingly. Melina's in this movie, and she's an evil clone of Kitana, but Kitana and Jade were gone from this movie, so hopefully Kitana and Jade will be in the next one. We could potentially see Sindel because of that. Maybe Rain. I know Rain was supposed to be in this movie, but they said he just didn't serve a purpose, so they just cut his part, which sucks for Rain, because Rain's fantastic. So maybe they'll put Rain in the next movie. Who knows? That being said, maybe Cyrax. Maybe Smoke would be really cool to see as well. Especially if we're going to be getting the biggest one that I think is going to pop up, Kuai Liang Sub-Zero, because he wants to get his revenge against Scorpion Slot. Probably he's going to want to get his revenge against Cole as well for it. Until obviously, things get found out. I would love to see Quan Chi, as Shang Tsung's already in the movie. I don't think we'll see them, but it'd be cool. Sector would be really fucking awesome to see. I would love to see Sector. Maybe Frost, if they can figure out a good way to kind of bring her in. I can't think of many more characters that I could really see them bring in, but I'm really excited to see where the Mortal Kombat franchise goes. If you guys also really enjoyed the movie, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I hope to see a lot of people nerding out over this movie just like me. I was fucking losing it at like every goddamn reference to the game. And I just cannot wait for more of it, because I think the director, I think was it James Wan who directed it? I want to say it was James Wan, but I feel like that's wrong. I think the movie did great. I think everything was great. The casting was great. The storyline was great. And for those of you wondering, yes, I will probably definitely be getting the pop figures that go with this movie and unboxing them on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay golden. Peace.